Jacob, home field has so much new stuff, especially for March and March Madness. They came in with new jerseys, like new retro jerseys, which are super, super cool. They always have the best stuff. I bought a home field shirt a couple years ago, and it still looks brand spanking new. And I got more home field stuff on the way. I absolutely cannot get enough of home field apparel.
If you're a NASCAR fan, actually, they have some throwback gear on their site too
Yeah.
right now. So tap in, home field. If you want to support the show, use code SQUARE at checkout. You get 15% off if you're a first-time orderer, or you get 10% off if this is if you're just a home field addict. That's code SQUARE at checkout. There's one company, Andy, that we trust to put our own merch out there into the world and who we firmly believe is coming on top this football season. That's elitesports.com. They support athletes directly. They make custom stuff for us and for them. So how could we not be on board?
We got friends who have bought the crew necks. I always wear my Elite Sports Squaring Around hat. Got to support the brand. Use code SQUARE at checkout for a 10% discount. Not too shabby. EliteSports.com. They support the athletes and they support us. So go support them.
Thanks for squaring. What's up, brother?
What's up, brother?
No. Sketch, fix your fucking street.
Dog, I have been nonstop watching Sketch and Jinxie videos. So funny.
I found them like a month ago maybe, and I've tried to watch them live on like Twitch, but I'm asleep. I don't have time.
Yeah, I'm not a Twitch guy at all.
Jinxie has a podcast now. Sketch was on it. I learned that Sketch started his collegiate career. Now, granted, never graduated, and they both agree that the college education system is a scam, which means that you're in that camp, Jacob. You would agree with
a scam? Yeah, for sure.
It's a scam. But I learned that he started his collegiate career at Texas State.
I was transferring schools, so I went to Texas State, was in San Marcos.
Motherfucker, you transferred to three, why?
Technically four.
You transferred to 4 universities.
I was giving everything a try, you miss 100% of shots you don't take.
So 4 universities, name all the 4 universities that you went to?
Texas State, OU, Mississippi State, Lone Star College.
Lone Star College.
Okay.
Was that the last one?
I was just trying to give it another shot. I gave it one last swing.
And then he went to OU and then Mississippi State and then Lone Star College before he finally dropped out. So at some point, Sketch's weird ass was walking around the quad.
What's up, brother?
So be nice to those people because you never know. One of them might be a millionaire one day.
Well, so he was on Barstool's, whatever. I don't know what podcast it was, but he was on a Barstool show. They're all the same to me. So I just say he's on Barstool. And so, he does not have a disability, right? Kylie Cox does not have a disability.
Yeah. He's playing a
character.
Yeah. Which...
Is that a good character to play?
Debatable. I don't know. I think it's on the scale of characters to play, better than Shane Gillis's first characters he was playing. Worse. Well, actually, better than the characters. No, I don't know. I think it's a bad character. Let's just leave it at that.
Did you hear about those 2 dudes in Boston recently who imitated a Chinese guy? It got a little bad.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Well, it's not as bad as the Shane Gillis thing, though, if you can use your imagination for that, fair audience.
Okay.
But yeah, shout out Bobcat Sketch. Once a Bobcat, always a Bobcat.
Always a Bobcat for sure.
What's up, brother?
Come on the pod.
Dude, that'd be funny. What's up, brother?
What's up, brother?
How much does that dude make?
Tuesday, 12 Casino.
You are.
Thank you, brother. I'll take that as
Thank you, brother.
and it's awesome. I listen to a little Sauce Walker,
Tuesday. Check
Millions
Tuesday.
Millions of dollars. I guarantee. What do you think his earnings are?
You know what's my comfort video is them eating spaghetti. I'm just like, this is me and Andrew.
That's good as fuck.
Some of them are hard, but it's okay. Some of us are hard. I'm not going to say who, but it's not the cameraman.
Me and Andrew core.
What do you think his net worth is?
It's probably less than $1 million for sure.
It's $2 million.
Damn. I was almost there.
Said less than.
Whoa,
and it was double. It was double what you thought.
There.
It was double what you thought it was.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Fans at home, did you get that right? Doubt it. Oh,
Pause that.
I got some
Pause?
fucking takes for y'all. Let's start this shit.
Okay.
Tired of winning the tailgate but losing the games? We can't help that. But we can tell you what the hell is up with each team and what's going on across sunny San Marcos. Texas State fans, get on your feet. You're listening to Squarin' Around with Jacob Rodriguez and Andrew Zimmel.
You can see me literally waking up in real time. That's funny. My wisdom tooth is growing in right now, only on one side. And it hurts so bad. It happens like this like every 3 or 4 months. Like it'll just randomly hurt. And then it'll stop for like 3 or 4 months. Should I go to the dentist? Yeah, but they're just going to recommend me to fucking take it out, you know? That's all they want. Fucking money hands.
Big dentist just wants to steal my teeth.
Dead ass. The big tooth fairy, bro. You don't understand.
Big tooth.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Squaring Around. My name is Jacob Rodriguez. That is the Texas State Sports Press, Andrew Zimmel. And this is the show where we talk about everything Texas State. This is episode 40, Andrew, for us.
Damn.
Even though we've had more than 80 episodes, because our numbering system on this show is funky.
Is whack.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
Is dumb.
Who did this?
We need to find that person and make them pay.
Kick their ass, bro.
What producer would have a numbering system where it's numbered all over the place?
Yeah. Well, I mean, whatever. Right?
Yeah. You could justify it.
It could have been, I was going to do something even more dumb. Like, it was going to be like, I was going to start back at like 1 and 2 because it was going to be like season 2.
Oh, season 2. Yeah.
So,
good idea not to do that.
Yeah. I was like, this is already confusing enough. So I'm just going to keep it pushing. And we also have like 2 other shows that we do. We haven't had a Square Talks in a while.
What?
And we haven't had a great
yeah.
Bobcats since Brian London.
We can have him back. Just keep doing him over and over and over again.
You guys are like,
we
what
can have
the
sketch.
hell? Where is Jacob? Why are we not doing interviews? It's because I have literally been this is week 7 of a bender that I've been on, where every weekend I have just gone out with my friends and gotten very drunk in celebration of something, though. There's a lot of things to celebrate this time of year.
Is this like a call for help? Like, hey, guys, I haven't done my job for this podcast because I've been drinking. I mean, what a wild thing to say.
No,
personally,
I think first of all, the behavior itself, therapy, is functioning. So that's good. Because if it wasn't, if I was shirking my responsibilities completely, that would not be good.
Just half shirking.
Half shirking.
We're
shirking off.
Yeah. Need to cut back on that.
Yeah.
Gonna get hairy palms.
But I have a few ideas for you and I, and we're gonna get back to cooking. But we are also just pumping out content regardless. So you're welcome, I guess.
Yeah. The Jesse to your Heisenberg, for sure.
Exactly. The thing is, though, Zim, I cannot pick a fucking UFC fight to save my life anymore.
Why?
Been...
Hold on. Time out. What do you mean?
Every major card that has come out in the past... You
bet against Sugar?
I want to say in the last 2 years, I have picked the wrong horse in the main spot.
I don't want to make this a race thing here, but I was talking to my board op who is Hispanic, and he was against Sugar too. And I was like, shout out, man, but I don't think this is the right call to make. He's a big UFC guy too. You saying this too. Now it's 2. It's like, oh shit, that's like half the Mexicans I know.
Disinformation campaign against Sugar Sean O'Malley was rampant last week.
Mm-hmm. And you bought it.
I love Cheeto. I do think Cheeto is at the end of his prime versus Sugar. He's at the height of his prime.
He's in the middle of it, yeah.
Yeah, like he's literally, you can't touch him. And I clicked on a single article from one of these like MMA blogspot whatever deals.
Damien got you, huh?
And it said some like random stat that like Sugar was like, I don't know, he was bad, particularly in significant strikes against guys who were like beneath 5'9" or 5'8", and I was like, good enough for me. Bang the fucking under. I mean, it's because like when you get into a gambling hole like that, you start to do that. Like
you're
chasing.
You
have to chase it
yeah,
because it looks better if you come back from it. So I think that's also part and parcel of the whole deal. Minus week 6
drinking every weekend, and you have a gambling addiction. This is what we've learned the first 5 minutes of the pod. This is
week
not
6
great.
of the college football was my worst gambling week this entire year, so it can't touch that. I went like fucking 0-15.
Damn, you're
That was
bad at
bad.
gambling. That's
That
not
was
good.
bad. This
So
is fine. I lost
you're a
$5.
drunk and you were bad at gambling. This is, oh God, this is tough. Tough
Bad.
looks for Jacob.
But is Ryan Garcia going crazy? That's your boy. And recently,
Yes.
Freestyle Thursdays. Okay, furthest thing. I'm the furthest thing from perfect, like you and I.
had to beg the question before the
Yes.
Devin Haney fight, which how is that still getting sanctioned?
I don't know. My boy Ryan Garcia, the Prince of the Punch, not looking great. It looks like he's a little punch drunk. I don't understand why he went crazy. Actually, I do understand why he went crazy. Living in LA, being a social media star, and also trying to box. If we've learned anything from the Paul brothers, this doesn't work. So I don't know what he's doing. I wish him the best. I like Ryan Garcia. I liked when he took a shot at Floyd Mayweather when he was like 16, being like, well, get in the ring with me, Floyd. I like that type of confidence. However, the tweets, the actions, not looking great for my man.
I guess we could talk about the Mike Tyson deal too, because Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, that's fucking nuts.
Did you look at the rules for that? Because I just read them today.
No. What
So
is
the
it?
rules for it are super weird, right? So the fight's happening this summer on Netflix. So already you're like, okay, is this like a real fight? So 58-year-old Mike Tyson is going to be taking on 27-year-old Jake Paul. But Jake Paul gets to use HGH or performance enhancing drugs, right? I'm going to assume it's HGH. I don't know what else performance enhancing drugs he's going to take.
Well,
he gets to use
HGH is, whatever. But
yeah.
I think when most people say a PED or something, they're thinking like Tren or
Well, it could be that.
Or like,
Could be that. The other part is that he gets to wear headgear and he also gets to tap in his brother at any point to do a 2-on-1.
What the hell?
So, yeah. So Mike Tyson could potentially be fighting both the Paul brothers at one point in this fight.
Very
At
much
least that's what
going
it
to
read
be.
like. So I look at it as like, is this elder abuse? Like best case scenario, right?
That's
Best
crazy.
case scenario. This is an entertaining WWE style thing. Worst case scenario is that they accidentally kill Mike Tyson, like which could happen. It's a fight; anything can happen, right? Like,
I don't think any of them can hit that hard,
it's
except
not
Mike
about-
Tyson, of course. I'm
it's
talking
not
about the Paul
hitting
brothers.
that hard. It's about accidentally hitting him in the wrong spot. That's what I'm thinking. Anyway,
I don't know. Do
it's
you
a
think you can
loser.
cut an angle like that against Mike Tyson? You're gonna hit him in the back of the head?
But here's the thing: 58-year-old Mike Tyson. Like we're
He's
not talking like
58.
he is. He's 58 years old.
Oh,
Or
you said
57.
52 earlier.
No. He's 57.
Mike
It's
Tyson.
a 30-year. It's about a 30-year age gap between him and the Pauls.
57. Yeah, he was born in 1966.
Yeah. So
When
look,
the music still sounded like this. And
then somebody was making a really good point I heard this week, and I wish I could credit them. They were saying that like Larry Holmes knocked out Ali, right? And we never, as a boxing community, never forgave Larry Holmes for that. And then, of course, Tyson knocks out Holmes in his first heavyweight fight. So now it's like, okay, the Jake Paul, Logan Paul, if they hurt Mike Tyson, they're going to lose all goodwill that they have built with any sort of fight community. Or on the other hand, they get their ass kicked by Mike Tyson and they lose all credibility that they've built up as like real fighters because a 57, 58-year-old guy knocked you out. You know what I mean? So it's a lose-lose. I don't know why the Pauls are doing this except for bankruptcy. I think that they need the money. So that's where this whole thing
Dude,
kind
all
of
they
boils
got
down
is
to.
money. What are you talking about? Those guys are
No.
rich. Those guys are rich for real.
I think that they're rich in. I don't think they're liquid. Let's put it that way. I
No,
think they
for
might have
sure.
some assets. I don't think they're liquid, and I don't think Mike Tyson's liquid either. So I
Big
think this is
Forex guys all around.
Yeah, I think this whole thing is a marriage.
Tom Brady's
of
about to start taking
convenience.
fights. That's how much money he lost on that shit.
Yeah, on FTX. Yeah, I think all of them need the money, so they're gonna do this type of fight. But as a fight community, I don't know why we would watch or why would we care.
Well, the thing is boxing dead?
No,
And also, the UFC, I don't know. I'm not impressed with any of these cards and stuff. There's something has to change because I think things are losing popularity, and that's why you see like the one championship series and stuff like that. Like now, jiu-jitsu is like a main thing of all these. They're trying to sign like Gordon Ryan and some of these like big jiu-jitsu guys to like major deals. I don't know if you ever watched Karate Combat. That's an insane sport to watch. Also doing jiu-jitsu stuff.
I'm busy watching women's basketball.
So now like the fight sphere is evolving where you can watch like Muay Thai and shit on Bali. Because I was watching Bali Sports Muay Thai the other day at work. I was like, first of all, we have Bali, we pay for this. And two, cool, I guess. But it's 2 a.m. Why are we watching this?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Good luck to everybody, I guess. I'm a fight fan. I just can't pick them for. I can pick the women's fights day after day. But if you hear me say, "Oh man, blah 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 is gonna win this fight," and we're talking about the men's division, fade that shit, and you will win some money.
Yeah, you're bad.
I'm fucking horrible. Let's talk about something else horrible. Basketball ending, basketball beginning. I don't know.
I don't know. You think it's horrible the way they went out? I thought that was impressive that they got to this far.
I was mad because I could have stood on business and been like, Texas State's going to finish top 3. Because that's what I wrote in the preseason deal for DCTF.
They got so fucking lucky.
And they finished top 3.
It's finished top 4. They got to the semifinal.
Pretty good.
So, and they lost to Arkansas State, correct?
Yes. No,
so
they lost to JMU.
Oh, so yeah, they came in third.
The tournament.
Yeah, they came in third.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
they finished top 3.
So look, watching those games, the Sun Belt has a problem with basketball. I'm going to put that out there. That it's not good that our tournament champion probably will be like the lowest 16 seed. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, they're garbage.
Not ideal. I don't know what the conference can do. I know that there's been conversations about like upgrading facilities, that the conference is making a push. The conference commissioner, Keith Gill, is making a push for like Texas State as well as the rest of the conference to like care more about basketball. But Texas State has always felt like they cared about basketball. It just feels like they just aren't Georgia State. You know what I mean? Like there's a couple years they're just losing to better teams. This year in particular was a bad year for Sun Belt basketball. And I kind of stands out when you look at the rest of college basketball because the men's side of things, you can get excited for a couple games. You get excited for Duke, North Carolina. You get excited for Purdue or Ohio State. The women's side of things was incredible this year for college basketball as like a whole on a national landscape. But because it was so fun. Second best year ever for what?
Probably, this is the first best year ever. But I'm talking about in terms of like people talking about women's basketball,
yeah.
Like on the national scale, like people in offices, not just media offices, but in offices across the world were like, yo, did you see Caitlin Clark's deal?
I will be very interested to see how many women's brackets gets filled out across CBS and ESPN because I imagine it'll probably be a new high because normally, you do the women's bracket and you're just like, oh, I'll throw some teams there, whatever. I'll take the Longhorns, I'll take the Bobcats all the way to the Final Four, whatever, right? But I think this year there's going to be people who actually care. And because of that, it made the Sun Belt look so much worse. Because of people being excited for college basketball, the Sun Belt not having super competitive men's division basketball looked worse. Women's side was still good. Women's side was still very competitive. The men's side of things, and look, I'm happy Texas State made it top 3, and I'm really happy that Jacob's prediction was right and Dave Campbell's because now we're going to get invited back probably to write for him.
I was literally looking at that article the other day, and I was like, L. And then as Texas State started progressing in the tournament, I was like, this is what I'm fucking talking about. That's what this article is all about. Everybody.
I'll be curious to talk to Ish and be like, so when you go back and you are like, does it matter if Jacob was right? Does it matter if I was right? Or is it just that it got done? Like, I'm just curious because
I think it's mostly the second half of that. It's that it got done. And then because we wrote this, we got some experience under our belt and next year should be even better. And if Jacob just got this right by throwing some fucking darts on the wall, once his luck, twice his skill,
Yeah. So, okay, I've pronosticated a gas bagged enough. What is your takeaway from Texas State men's basketball? Now the season's over.
Overall, we took a shitty situation. And again, Terrence Johnson willed us into the semifinals. Yeah, so good.
And you think, okay, so you watch Arkansas State lose to JMU. And did any part of you think like, damn, that should have been us?
They were like a 2 seed, right? Somehow?
Arkansas State, yeah.
Pretty sure. So
JMU,
I was like,
I think it was the number 1 seed.
First of all, I tweeted this shit on Squarin around, like the bracket when it came out for the both men's and women's side. And I was like, oh, wow, look at that. We actually are covering basketball now. Because for a long time, you and I both like covering winning teams. So if Texas State teams kind of start skunking, we're like, Why the fuck are we talking about this team? It doesn't matter anymore.
Spend 15 minutes talking about fights.
Yeah, exactly. We'd rather talk about that than talk about a losing team at Texas State. So that's why the coverage. We didn't even talk to coach. I mean, you and I talked to the women's team. I talked to the men's team preseason. We had no excuse or no reason to talk about them during the entire season. You didn't even want to go to a press conference.
I did. Well, I didn't. And I had a good reason not
Mid-season.
to. I had a good reason not to. They lost, A, and B, I knew what they were going to say, and they didn't say anything interesting. And we didn't get to talk to any players. It was just Terrence. It was just TJ. So, like, I mean, what are we talking? Don't pretend that I was, like, lazy. We didn't get to talk to a player.
So is that a chicken shit move that Texas State always plays? That, like, when we lose, we're like, no players, no, definitely not the guy you want to talk to, and no players anyway.
I don't know. I think that
little chicken. I think it's a little bok, but I also understand controlling the narrative of the situation.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I think that I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that they don't have enough SIDs and there's not enough manpower.
No, that's true.
That is what I'm gonna go with here. I don't think it's them being cowardly about it, but at the same time, I don't know.
Well, that's how you get some of those like fired up sound bites. Like, imagine if we talked.
No, here's the thing.
TJ Finley post Coastal loss.
There has been one usable soundbite throughout my time covering Texas State when it comes to basketball. Football, there's been a couple, but for basketball, there's one. And it was, "You're wearing our shirt." That is it. I've never heard any player, and because they do really good media training, I've never heard a player go off. There's never been a time where they're like,
there are certain teams that are better at it than others. I'll just say that. Like, as far as answers and stuff and interactions go. And basketball team is not number one.
You don't think that they're what do you mean by that? Because I think they've been the most buttoned up. I don't think they've ever heard them say anything crazy.
I think football actually took a major step forward. Obviously, the women's sports are way better at it, though, because I think women are just smarter overall. And the women come into college sports and they're just ready to go. And you're the top athlete at your high school, whether it's 6A, 5A, whatever. So you're already used to talking some media, and you're talking about women's sports. If you get any sort of media coverage, because let's be honest, it has waned and then I guess waxed. What is the positive version of that in recent years, especially when we're talking about women's basketball? I'm just saying that, like, now women's sports is this big like spotlight on it. So now they're getting a lot more like press than ever before, which is good, because if you turn on local TV and you don't see women's sports, that is bad. Because there's so much going on. Or you talk about state basketball, like, it's a big deal too. I'm just saying. So anyway, I just think women are better at it overall than men. So you put that as like A1 category. I think football is the best men's sport, though, it's as far as like media training goes, because I would see these guys answer questions and stuff. The first person they would look at is Chris Coots, and that is a very positive thing if you're talking about media PR deal.
I've seen, what was his name, the tight end our freshman year, Gabe Schrade. He had a couple of really good quotes. There was a time where we got to talk to Brian London every single week, and he had some good quotes, especially.
That was kind of weird, though, talking to the same person over and over again. And also, we talked to him every time they lost.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I don't know if I ever talked to Brian when we won.
Well, it was only twice. I think like 7 times in his career. So
4 times in our tenure.
You didn't get a ton of times to talk to him. Like I said, the basketball team has always been buttoned up. There's not a ton of hot takes. There's not a ton of like hot, So back to I didn't want to go because I knew what they were going to say, and I knew that we weren't going to get anybody. And honestly, I have not been able to find any of the Terrence Johnson post game after the loss to JMU. I don't know. Have you been able to find anything? Mm-hmm. I didn't find anything. Was it anything interesting?
It's on the Sun Belt.
Was it anything good? Was it anything worthwhile?
I guess just start off saying this. Every next level of this is very similar to life. It requires a different version of yourself. So we knew that this was going to be a tough a tough outing for us, and that we had to do some things right, and we had to clean up some stuff. And this is a very good team that we played against, well coached team, super talented, uber talented team. I thought we made some costly mistakes down the stretch, but for the most part, at the end of the day, I think it comes down to the +10 in rebounding for us. I haven't watched the film, but I can start right there. And the fact that they were one free throw off of how many we attempted. So, it just showed that we got to finish plays if we're not going to get to the free throw line.
It was what you expect. And of course, I'm going to be putting bites in this. So you're going to be like, what are you talking about? We have the fucking JMU post game right here. Yeah, it's because you have a great producer. It's what you expected after a loss. It's a team that was an 11th seed. Also, fun fact from Terrence Johnson, since he has been at the helm / at Texas State has either been a 1 seed or an 11th seed in the Sun Belt Conference tournament.
Yeah, well, I guess throughout my tenure here, we've only been an 11 or a 1 seed, so I guess there's something about the 1. So I guess for us, just to focus on going 1-0 is the most important thing, regardless of what seed that we have. So that's what we're trying to do, and credit goes to these guys for locking in and focus on that and understanding that it's a new season.
Strange, good fact, bad fact. I don't know.
I would argue they've had more success as an 11 seed.
Yes, and that was the point of that question. So I don't know. Terrence Johnson kind of laughed it off. He was like, I don't know, something about having a 1 in there somewhere makes that happen.
The other part, watching these games in Pensacola, I didn't listen to the sound on.
Anti-visit Pensacola.
I'm very anti-Pensacola. They didn't have so I didn't watch with the sound on for ESPN Plus because immediately I noticed that they didn't have the announcers in the building, and you can tell. So I watched with the sound off, and I was
these guys out.
Hmm?
We didn't fly these guys out.
No. So I was watching with the sound off, and I was looking at Twitter for updates, and I was on my laptop trying to catch up on score box scores because I was like, okay, I'm not gonna hear the announcers tell me what the scores are, so I'm gonna have to look. And we have strayed so far from God's light. Bring it back to New Orleans. Bring it back to NOLA, and that's the hub. That is where it's an easy spot for the entire conference to go. When they moved it to Pensacola, they said, oh, it's a better tourist destination and Sunbelt fans will. I didn't even see that many Sunbelt fans. I'll be honest. I did not. When I was watching the games, it's not like they're packing the stadium in Pensacola. I would rather put them in the Smoothie King. Put them somewhere. And okay, it's an empty stadium. Who cares? It's a better place to play basketball, which is hard to believe because Smoothie King is not that great of a place. But it's better than Pensacola, in my opinion. Now, I'd like to talk to the coaches and see what their thought is because it's been a couple of years.
Love it.
But I don't understand why. I don't. Outside of the
beach, the first thing
both understand.
Coach Z and Coach Johnson said is, "Everybody, thank you so much for hosting this event. This is top.
They gotta do that. They have to do that. It's not like
but it's whether they mean it or not, and you can tell they kind of mean it.
So I appreciate the Sun Belt Conference and the city of Pensacola, state of Florida, for hosting this event. It is amazing. They do a phenomenal job. So we're glad that we had a chance to kind of hang around a little bit.
Look, I don't know because here's the other thing. So, all right, we are both younger in our careers.
Yes.
So let's
even though we feel old.
Let's fast forward this 5 years, and we're in our 30s, and we have time off, and we have PTO. We can take it. We can take a couple of days. Do you want to go to Pensacola?
I have that. I don't know about you.
Do you want to go to Pensacola? Do you want to, or would you rather go to NOLA? That's what I'm saying.
So I want to go to NOLA.
What are we doing? Why are we not in NOLA? I just don't. It doesn't make any. Or here's an idea. How about we have it in North Carolina, or we have it in South Carolina, or somewhere Virginia, where we have teams. I don't care. Honestly, give it to one of the schools. I'd rather go to JMU. You know what I mean? I'd rather come to Lafayette. I don't want to really go to Jonesboro, but send it to one of the schools. I'd rather have that than Pensacola.
But every mid-major conference, and not every mid-major travels for this shit. Usually it's highest seed, whatever, hosts the tournament, whatever. Or how Texas State does it or not Texas State, the Sun Belt does it for baseball, right? It just revolves around the different shits. And then usually who has the nicer facilities.
I would rather have that.
Yeah. But I don't know why we're so like, oh, let's go to Pensacola or whatever. Because you're right. I mean, it's based in New Orleans, but also like Gil. I know you're a fan of the show. Thanks for watching. Do a lot of people go watch these things? Like nobody's going to watch the American Conference Basketball Championship. It's like the same issue over and over again
Of
for
the
all the
mid
mid majors.
majors, the Big East clearly clears. The mid majors, that one clears. Like that one, people show up to the Madison Square Garden to watch. But for the Sun Belt, I don't know, man. Conference USA, I don't know, man. I'd rather just have it at a location. And I think it'd be cool. Personally, again, I would rather have it at a school because I know that environment could get excited because I've seen a Louisiana game get excited on a Saturday. I've seen a JMU or a Marshall get excited on a random Thursday night game. Well, do that, versus going to I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so women's
That's the thing
basketball.
about having a very East Coast heavy conference, though, is that we're not going to get fucking Texas ever. I mean, we're the only Texas school in the country. Don't tell GJ Kinney that because he didn't know, but we're the only Texas school in the fucking Sun Belt.
But that's the other thing. Like if San Marcos had the conference championship, you don't think that place would get packed? You don't think that place would be so like, especially if we scheduled it so like it landed on like around spring break. So okay, you have students who might be on campus. Maybe some of them are going to, Port A or going to Padre.
Well, I think that's what they're trying to avoid specifically. But it's just like that's just March, baby.
Don't go to Pensacola.
I guess so. Yeah, you're right. You're literally on a beach. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know a lot, but okay, yeah. Hey, college kids, come down to Pensacola. Like, all right. Honestly, like the fifth best beach in Florida.
As opposed to Gulf Shores in Alabama or South Padre Island.
Just saying.
I got a little homesick recently. So I saw one of the beach bars in the valley posting pictures from like Steve Aoki last night. And it was so funny. I was like, dang, that could have been me if I just was a UTRGV vaquero. So let's talk about women's basketball first because they were the first out. They lost in the very first game to, what was it, Georgia Southern, pretty sure.
Yeah.
It was the worst team in the tournament, Georgia Southern. Not a good look for our beloved team. Coach Z, obviously not enthused, but short trip home. And we've already basically been like, let's just fast forward to next year for this team. And that was basically like also what I was thinking for the men's team. It's just like, let's get this shit over with. We're going to lose game one, if not game two. Yeah. What are your thoughts on the women's?
Yeah, not a good look for my guys. Not a good look. I will say, I'm pretty sure at some point during the season, I think that they had 6 players six players who played the most minutes in one game during the year. I forget what game it was, but I was keeping track. And it was like none of these players had played together the season prior. So when you put it into that like frame of reference, the one thing this team really struggled with this year was making outside shots. That was the one thing that really irked me was that they could not ever find the stroke from deep. And
pause.
And I just think to myself, like, if the offense is calling for, because they were open shots too. That's the other thing, is that they took some open shots and they just weren't hitting them. And the Southern game was no different. I don't think next year will be like this. I really think this was like one of those weird, when you look at Coach G's career, there's very high peaks and not super low valleys, but there are some valleys. And I think like this will be one of those valleys that when we look at the totality of the career, like, you got your,
she did hang a banner last year. So,
I mean,
if you hang a banner every other year, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I was also listening to the Aggie podcast that I also edit in my dreams for Craven and Jay Arnold. And they were talking about how different it is when like fan bases get mad at like a coach for being what they are. If you can be like an 8-win coach.
What was this in reference to?
If you can, it was in reference to football and Jimbo Fisher and how people are like
What I
mad
was
that
afraid of.
he's like a 7 year or 7 win to 8 win coach and not necessarily a national title contender, you know? So it's like when our coaches do what they're supposed to do, which is win a regular season title, get a high seed into the tournament, maybe get out of the tournament. It's like, are we mad at that? Are we okay at the consistency?
Okay, I like where this is. Here's where those things break off is the money, right? Like I'm paying Jimbo Fisher to win me a national championship. I'm not
Correct.
paying for him to win me 7 games. Coach Z.
Well, but
and
that's
TJ
the idealism with everything, right? Is that like you go into all of these situations, whether you're Texas A&M, Texas State, whatever, but you want to be winning all the time. It's never not. We want to be floating around, you know.
The thing that all of these programs, both the basketball programs, baseball and softball, have gotten away with is they do not, to me, have a consistent level of expectation.
Okay.
That if you have, so if the expectation is to win the conference regular season title year in and year out, then this year's a failure. If the expectation is to win the conference championship, conference tournament, and play in March Madness or play in the WNIT, if that's the level of excellence, the standard, then this is a failure, right? And same with baseball. Like if baseball is perennially a super regional team or just a regional team, right? Or whatever, a conference championship team. If that's the level, that's the standard, and then you lose in the second round of the tournament, then that's a disappointment. Same with softball.
Which is what I said last week about that shit.
Right. But because, and again, it all comes back to football, but because football was such a black hole and just sucked all of the attention for how shitty they were, it sucked all of the fan engagement and sucked all that up. They didn't need to have a standard.
That's
right?
true. Yeah.
So
they
now,
absorbed a big blow for football being good. You know, they were like, we took a lot of heat off this entire department.
But here's what I would like from all these coaches. And hopefully next year we're not as busy or whatever, and we can get them on the podcast. There's one thing.
I'd love to talk to both of them actually on the recruiting trail and just be like super high postseason bullshit once you guys have both been able to process this tournament.
It's one thing to say like, okay, the expectation is to win a conference championship, but it's another thing not to do it. Because both of these teams, both the men and the women, have not won the conference tournament.
Ever.
The thing that matters most, like I said, the thing that matters most is winning the conference tournament and going to the NCAA tournament. Because look, I love a regular season banner, but here's the damning thing is that for fans, a regular season banner is just something that you see when you take your kid to a game. An NCAA tournament appearance is something that fans in Houston and in Dallas and across the country and across the world can watch. And that will bring you attention. That'll bring you alumni attention. That'll bring you alumni dollars. It's been 26 years, 27 years now that we haven't played
1997, the last men's tournament team.
Yes, have not played in the NCAA tournament.
When coach Dante Mathis was on that team.
That has to change at some point. Now, is it going to be changed next year? I don't know. But I'd like Coach Johnson to have a map of how do we get there.
Yes.
Because this idea that like every single year is a new year, that's not cutting it.
No bueno.
Not when Texas State is consistently having guys graduate or having guys that are on campus for 3 years. You have a Sunbelt team that has players on the roster for 3 to 5 years in some cases has an advantage over most other teams in college basketball when they're going 1 and done or 2 and done. Okay. Mm-hmm. Like I need to see growth from this year to next year because look, you said this is his first group. That's all him. I need to see next year steps forward.
Well, I want to see retainment, right? First of all, because like it doesn't matter if you have a quote good class or a bad class if none of them stay with you at the end.
It's not. He hasn't lost a ton of guys. It's not
well, it doesn't feel like he has anybody memorable either. Christian Hicks was the last guy that was honored in senior night, as reported first by Colton McWilliams on this show. Drew Drennan and Tyrell Morgan will be back next year, according to Colton at least. I have yet to confirm that independently with the department, but I trust Colton, so we'll go with that. I think that is a good foundation for a team, especially Jordan Mason, who is the hero of the damn tournament, and
He really balled out. He
and
really
Caden
showed out.
Gum stay. That's a very good core to keep around. And then you just need a big man who can play, which Texas State has never had.
I don't know. Yeah, I just at some again, it just the Sun Belt in totality for basketball struggled this year, but it's not that much worse than it's been every other year. This conference is for the taking. You could legitimately, if you're Coach Johnson or Coach Z for that matter, you could build a team that is consistently going to the finals of the conference tournament, going to the NCAA tournament, and you could get a better job that pays you more money. Like, if you like to be in San Marcos, that's great. Win me a bunch of regular season titles, win me a bunch of conference tournaments, and stay your entire career here. I'm not trying to push you out.
Is that the issue? Is that Texas
I'm not
State
trying to
is
push
such
you
a
out.
nice place that these coaches just underachieve for decades?
I'm not saying. I'm just saying. It's like if the goal, if your goal is to go and move up in the coaching ranks and play or coach at a Power 5 school or coach at a better mid-major school, then you would think that you'd want to win conference championships at Texas State. And we haven't seen that from Coach Casper either. Yeah. So, there's not a.
If you're watching the video feed of this podcast, I'm waving my fucking arms around because this is the rumor mill. Also talking about this shit. It was rumored that the only job Coach Steven Trout would be interested in taking would be at his alma mater, TCU.
Yep.
He loves Texas State so much.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they've underachieved. I'm just saying we got skunked out of a win against Sam Houston over the weekend.
TCU just played in the College World Series.
Yes.
So
that probably is not going to happen.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying. I mean,
because once Texas figures out how to be good at baseball again, that whole conference will shift again.
Well, they're leaving, so.
Well, yeah. Oh, fuck. You're right. Same. Well, whatever. Is this the last year that they're in the...
Have you not kept up with the tour of hatred? Yeah.
No, sorry. It's because you know what I've figured out about in the recent weeks of this podcast? I'm like, what the hell is wrong with me? The drinking is one thing. The other part is that football is such a big fucking deal for both you and I that I just kind of completely disengaged from everything for a couple months. And that's what baseball has become for me.
Re-engaging.
I'm starting to listen to some sports podcasts. This is truly the beginning of the off season for me. Right around this time, just re-up my MLB app for the audio so I can listen to all the games again. Yeah, this is me re-engaging with the sports world at this moment in time. After what it was December 26th when the season ended. After
doing 2.5 months of podcasts weekly. Okay. Yeah. Glad you're back.
Well, those were like kind of culture first / sometimes we broke news on them, and we were still talking about mostly football too.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about the damn baseball team till July, basically, with my ass. So anyway, I told you at the very beginning of the basketball season that Coach Johnson, former AAU coach, great AAU coach, he thrives in the tournament setting. Now, if you look at our tournament record, you'll go, hey, that's missing like a major win at the tournament setting. Yes, but he has also willed very high seeds. Last year was the first time a 7th seed or higher in the entire Sun Belt overall made it to the semifinals. This year, we get to the semifinals again. In similar fashion, we were 11th seed this time. Success.
Does that mean we were the lowest? Does that mean we're the lowest seed to get there?
For sure. Yeah, 100%. We're the lowest.
So you asked if that was a success?
A success?
Question what mark? The fuck are we giving out participation ribbons or what?
Success? I don't know. I don't think it was a success for sure. I think it was a nice surprise for the fans because we're still watching basketball into 3 days into the tournament.
If you want my honest opinion, I think a team like Texas State got hot at the right time. And we
Correct.
said last week, we were like, hey, they're
But
getting
that's
hot
such
right
a
now.
cliche
Hopefully.
for me, is that like, oh wow, this team's getting hot at the right
No,
time.
I
It's
don't think
like,
so.
well, if you could play that good in fucking March, why couldn't you play that in late January to early February?
There's something to be said for the shots falling. And if you have a couple games like Texas State did at the end of the season and then going into this tournament where the shots started to fall a little bit more, you feel coming to the tournament saying, hey, I feel pretty good from shooting from deep. I feel pretty good from my free throws. I feel pretty good from the mid range. I think the offense is clicking. And also they got a good draw. So look, success, I don't know. I think it's a cool bar fact. I think that if a bar in Texas in San Marcos ever decides to have like Texas State trivia night, first off, invite Colton McWilliams. He will ace it. He'll
Dominate.
kick ass, dominate. And B, this is a cool little trivia fact, but I don't know at the end of the day how excited I am for it.
Wearing my Bobcat Madness shirt right now for our listeners at home. Here's another basketball related story. If you guys were
given out, let me ask you this. So it's been 4 years since the pandemic. Have they done any like giveaways? Have they? Because I know Colton is usually like there. I think they gave away shirts for Black History Month. Like, do they do like giveaways and T-shirt nights and stuff like that still? Okay,
Yeah.
I just was. Yeah. I haven't seen them advertised, so I don't know.
I think they did something for the blackout game, and then he texted us about those rally towels at the game we were at, and I was like, I don't need.
Yeah, I'm not as a media member. I don't feel super comfortable
okay.
now that I'm not a student and I'm just a straight alum media member. Don't feel super comfortable taking the free stuff from the table.
No, I definitely was going like when they had like chairs on the or shirts on chairs at those games. I was definitely one of the first ones in, and then I would sit on press row with the boys back when press row was still up top, not in the fucking rafters like they have it now. That's why I like sitting on the court for basketball now. So if you ever see me, I will be on the court. I'm not sitting way the fuck up there like Sting. By God, that Sting up in the rafters. Anyway, you guys will remember the trident situation that the football team was in last year where we were playing Jackson State, and they have like a turnover trident for whatever reason. They were scored on 70 points in that game. I don't know why they have a turnover trident. I don't think they had a good season overall either, Jackson State. Regardless,
Nevada.
The Bobcat marching
Nevada.
band. Oh, Nevada? Really?
Nevada.
So that was week 2.
Yes.
No, week 3 was Nevada because we hosted 2 home games first. Right? No, week 3?
Baylor,
then UTSA, then Nevada.
then Nevada.
Or is it Jackson State?
Wasn't Jackson State.
Are you sure?
I'm 99%.
Because Nevada was week 4, I'm pretty sure. I'll bet my life on that shit.
All right. I don't think Jackson State had a turnover trident. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't check out to me. We can do this. Let's do this.
Jackson State was week 3. Nevada was week 4. Yeah. Hispanic Heritage Day. I remember that game well.
September, Nevada was the turnover trident.
Nevada was September 23rd.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So exactly what I was saying. Week 4.
You said
Jackson
State.
The Bobcats are riding a hot streak. We're 3-1, I guess. Well, soon find out. We were tested early and often by Nevada because they could scramble out of the pocket. Regardless, it headed into halftime. The Bobcat marching band is marching down the sidelines, about to get ready for their halftime show. I mentioned earlier, Nevada has a turnover trident for whatever reason, and somebody from the crowd goes, "Hey, give us that." So the Bobcat marching band grabs it, throws it into the crowd, tosses it into the crowd lightly, hands it over to somebody. I don't know. This is all alleged. Anyway, the turnover trident finds its way into the stands. Next thing you know, 2 assistant coaches from Nevada are marching their way up there. They eventually take it back. It is rumored that it was thrown at somebody and hit somebody, or a player like threw a water bottle at one. I don't know. It was a whole deal.
I want to clear this up about the turnover trident because you said something and I want to pinpoint. You said, I don't know why they have a turnover trident. And we did this in September. We talked. Why do they have a turnover trident?
Oh,
yeah, reason
you're right. I remember this now.
Battleship Nevada Remembrance Project Director presented a team of the Trident to honor the USS Nevada, which was given 7 battle stars for its service in World War II.
So we technically stole an artifact of war.
not well. I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but sure.
I mean, it's commemoration for
yeah,
the
yeah,
Battleship Nevada.
sure, yeah. But anyway, I just want to. We did this in September. We're doing it again in March. I just want to make sure.
No,
that we
no.
get
Thank you
all
for
of-
catching
yeah,
me
get-
up too, because I don't
Get
even
the
remember this
dominoes
shit.
in the right order here.
Dominoes, or Dynamos. There you go. Shane Gillis.
Dynamos. We would order pizza every Friday. Both my cousins lived next door. They had 10 kids. We had 6 kids, and we'd order
16 freaks.
16 kids.
Hills have eyes come running out.
So like we would see we'd all be looking out from our respective houses on Friday night to see which way the pizza truck went because we were waiting. Like, where is that? And my one cousins would be waiting outside. And when they pulled up their driveway, they would go, Dynamo! They were like 9 years old. Dynamo!
Yeah.
So anyway,
Big fan.
turnover tried and stolen, and the conversation surrounding the band
Fulton
member
goes
was,
viral.
yeah, was he kicked out or was he not? Was he kicked out or was he not? And we said at the time, I don't think he was kicked out.
Correct.
And then other conflicting reports were, yeah, he got kicked out. And we were
He
like,
got
all right,
kicked off.
whatever.
He got suspended. He's not going to march next week. Blah, blah, blah,
You
blah,
know,
blah.
Honestly, end of the day, I don't really care all that much about a kid, but here we are.
Because there was so little to talk about this entire basketball season. Our beautiful Bobcat marching band. I don't know what they call it in the springtime when they do it for the basketball team, but those guys, it's a smaller band because it's just based on basically availability and you just keep showing up to games and stuff. But they traveled with the team to Pensacola, and somebody noticed that they brought their own trident. So they've embraced this fucking meme, and everybody was like, "Wow, we need to get on the same page." Was this guy like kicked off the team, or is this okay to be celebrated, or was he admonished by the administration anyway? Squaring around, confirmed with our sources, the powers that be, that he was in fact not kicked off the team. Nobody actually was kicked off the team for that entire incident. Yeah, that's it.
So now if you're Nevada, are you like, no repercussions? Like,
Yeah, I'm
nothing-
pissed if I'm
nothing happened
Nevada.
of it?
They stole
Okay.
our artifact of war?
They stole our thing. They're using it. The band now has a trident, and I guarantee you they're going to keep using it in perpetuity.
Yes.
It's
Which was
just
the
like-
point of my tweet. So I guess
Yeah.
Texas State embraced the trident. I don't know. What do you?
you
We already say
know-
states up, so you can't say tridents up.
Yeah, you can't do that. But what you could do is you can get a Boco Sailor Bobcat holding a trident, Colton McWilliams, get your cartoonist on that.
Or you could get a mermaid holding a trident, picking out cans for the river, because San Marcos passed a can ban. In New Braunfels, it used to be the whole thing where you have to bring like a hydro flask, or you have to bring a Nalgene or whatever, right, to drink your beer or whatever to float the river. Borg. But now you can
Stanley Cup.
Now you have to do that same thing in San Marcos, which I think was way overdue. It was nice though, just drinking cans in San Marcos for a long time, because I haven't been able to do that for a very long time because all I do is float New Braunfels. When I floated this summer in San Marcos though, it's like, wow, this is what it's all about. You know what it was? It's like in the Iron Claw when they're floating down the river, they're just chugging beers and eating burgers, just like real boys. That's what it was. All right, so I think we can officially put basketball to bed. Shout out basketball, I guess. Not really.
Reverse shout out.
Reverse shout out to basketball. Have you seen this latest deal that Craven's been pushing about attendance numbers?
Oh my God. Why are we pushing why are we pushing attendance numbers?
Well, I just thought it was interesting because he talked about Texas State's attendance numbers and how, or not even him, actually. You're a fan of Greg Tepper? Greg Tepper had this shit on his show with Ashley Pickle.
Okay.
Talking about one of the biggest risers in home attendance was Texas State.
What the hell are you talking about? Are you talking football? Are you talking basketball? Are you
Yes,
talking baseball? Okay.
Football.
Football attendance, that's a no-brainer. We knew this. We knew that the Texas State was going to have a higher attendance this year versus years prior. They won the most games in FBS history for Texas State. This isn't news.
That's true.
Yeah, Texas State jumped up 78%
I think
in attendance.
we reported this shit first.
Yes, I mean, why? Well, this isn't news.
This is just self-glazing for us.
So let me. So did they do percentage increase from the year prior?
Yes, of course.
So was Texas State number one?
No.
Who could possibly have beat us It's not UTSA.
No. It actually, some people online were like, yo, take away the UTSA game from UTSA and Texas State and see where you
Wow.
guys all are. And I was like,
They said Electoral College.
yeah. I was like, well, that's not how that works. It's like how I said last week. If Texas State just did not have the first 3 innings against TCU, we would have won against that team. Like, that's not how that works either, Jacob.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find
So who's number 1?
Hang on. Give me a second. This was a collab, first of all. Oh, here we go. March 4th. The number 1 was in difference of like rate of whatever, you know. This is Houston's first year in the Big 12.
In the Big 12?
41% increase. 20.77% increase for Texas State.
Only 20% increase?
Mm-hmm. This is about 5-year averages though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, year over year change. Oh, I guess no, I'm reading this shit right. Year over year change from 23 to 24.
I blame Rick Poulter for this because Rick Poulter for years, I conspiracized that he was putting his thumb on the scale when it came to Texas State attendance. That he was not
you're right.
Counting. He was not counting attendance. He was counting tickets sold, which are 2 different things. If I buy season tickets, and I go to a single game, that counts for tickets sold versus attendance are the people at the game. So I always thought that there was a little bit of a thumb on the scale here, and it ruined us in this instance because we were more than 20%. I cannot believe that we were a 20% increase from last year to this year.
Well, you disagreed with this stat as soon as we started this podcast because we started this shit in 2022, and I was telling you that our average was about 17,000, and you were like, "In fucking what world is that?" And I was like, "That's fair," because of the history. We just talked about that, right?
I go to games and it's me and like 5 other people in the fan section. There's no way there's 17,000 people.
Yeah, so I agree with you there. In 2023, according to Chris Coots and that media team, right? So we're talking about this new era for Texas State.
New regime.
They say that our attendance average is 21,000 for last year, right? So the historic season for the Bobcats, 21,000. According to
30. So
yeah. According to this, we've only like been 70% away from reaching stadium capacity.
Okay. So if
you look at the sidelines, that's where fucking everybody is.
So let me say we were 20%. So that means there's probably like 4 teams that were higher than us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want to know them?
Yeah, I do. Houston was 1 at 41%. That's insane. That's a giant jump.
Mm-hmm.
And they went to see a bad team.
But we're actually second. We're actually second best.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So Cougars are 1. We're 2.
Houston, us, and then Sam Houston at 9%. So these like fall off dramatically because Houston was 40 and we were 20.
But
so
Houston was playing for a national championship a couple years ago at the FCS level. So that makes sense that they're not making like the giant.
Sam Houston, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense that they weren't making a huge jump.
Yeah. And like you're saying, all our shit was overinflated. So it makes sense that it would be that. No. I just thought that was interesting because when you see the numbers, it's one thing to say them over and over again like we do, but then to illustrate them in a graph form is different. Also, somebody, Creme Brulee, was talking about my mustache, which I'm honored because I think I have the second best mustache. I get maybe even third because Jack Stroud's mustache is so good. But our boy Creme Brulee at Creme_Brulee 10 was saying, is Jacob mustache getting thicker? Are we moving towards a full goatee? Is there a correlation between mustache fullness and at Texas State Bobcats on-field success? 89% of voters voted yes. Not 10% voted no. You fucking haters. Screw you guys. Yes, I believe so too. Last week, I grew out this kind of like goatee Fu Manchu bullshit because I was at a birthday party for my friend Emily Hall, and I was Fred Durst. So that was my character, and that's why I grew that shit out. Shout out Emily Hall.
Just give me something to break!
I only grow this shit out for Steve Trout every year, and then I shave it around the summertime. Should we find ourselves on the bad end of a bad season? And then I maybe begin anew / don't begin anew in the summer. I don't know. You never know with me. I'm a wild card.
Personally, I think the mustache looks better.
Like it? I've actually gotten some very recent comments about it. Good ways, like good compliments about it. So thanks. Some of the last things I want to talk about here. Oh, this is also football related. My bad. Aaron Brewer.
Let me say this. All right, finish up with Brewer. But there's a big story here that you're completely you put at the very end of the pod.
What have I buried?
Aaron Brewer gets a contract. And did you read the comments? That's the real talk. Aaron Brewer. Huh?
This is the real. This is what you're excited.
No. This is what. No. This is the topic you just brought up. Aaron Brewer gets a new contract with the Dolphins. Who do you sign a contract with?
I have no idea. Wait, hang on. I'm trying to get to this tweet that I sent you because I was just so shocked at everybody talking shit about Aaron Brewer. But I've sent you a bunch of fucking stupid tweets in the last. Oh yeah, the Dolphins. You're right.
Yeah.
So this is tweeted by our boy Ian Rappaport at Rapsheet. Reverse shout out. The Dolphins have agreed to terms with their new center, locking in former Titans center Aaron Brewer to a 3-year deal worth $21 million total. Source said. As a Titan,
contract.
Yeah. If you look at the top comments on this shit, as a Titans fan, the Dolphins got bamboozled. LMAO, Dolphins fans. He's 6'1" and weighs 275 pounds. He's terrible. Jesus Christ.
We need to get our boy.
Tua may never play again after week 5.
Good.
Jesus Christ.
That's funny. I mean, I liked Aaron Brewer. I thought he did a good job in Tennessee.
I liked Aaron Brewer too, but my franchise does not depend on him. So
no, that's true. Neither is
we got the biggest boys in Dallas. For Dak Prescott's mid-ass.
Yeah.
By the way, Dak Prescott dealing with an extortion scandal. I mean, he's suing a woman, I think, for like $100 million or something, which is the contract that he wants from the Cowboys. So was this a Jerry Jones? Was this a Jerry Jones plant to try to get rid of some cap space for Dak Prescott?
Ooh, that's smart. I never thought about
Well, my fucking owner is a supervillain, so I have to think this way.
That's a good way to circumvent the cap.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, I never even thought about
that.
And
Dak Prescott planted that lady who claimed to be his fucking daughter.
Yeah. Damn. Little James Bond action.
Both ends of the sword. Bring up your deal.
Here's the biggest story of the week that for whatever reason Jacob refuses to cover, and it's Jessica Mullins winning Pitcher of the Week for 3 consecutive weeks. She is the best pitcher in the Sun Belt Conference. This might be the best team. I think wherever you set the bar for Texas State softball is too low. Like I really believe that this is a team that should win the conference and also the conference tournament. And she probably wins player of the year. Like she is on a trajectory right now that Rupp was on, right? Like Randy Rupp was incredible, but it was
did not have a team around her though.
Did not have hitting around her. Right. What's interesting to me is that Kat Osterman was like very instrumental in Randy Rupp's development. And I do not think that she's been around Jessica. And maybe I'm wrong here. I don't think she was around Jessica at like those developmental stages that you want from like a young pitcher. And we knew that she was working this offseason, but the fact that she came in and she looks this good this early makes me really excited as a Bobcat fan.
Is that a testament to just like how much raw talent Jessica has overall?
No, that's
her own development overall.
Yes, that is her. She has worked so.
Shout out to Coach Josh Trevino. Also, reverse shout out. Who's the pitching coach at Texas State?
Yes, and he took a photo with her when she threw a perfect game. She has worked so hard to get to this point, and as a Bobcat fan, when you see student athletes work hard, right, in the offseason, you're following them on social media and you're seeing like the work they're putting in. You as a fan, I'm rooting for them no matter what. But when I see them as like an individual level, I'm like, oh man, I really hope that they have a good season. To see her compete at this level makes me so happy as a Bobcat. I'm ecstatic for her. It's 3 in a row, and it's probably like this is the tip of the iceberg, right? We have a lot of season left. and sky's the limit for this Bobcat program.
Now, I will say, Zim, I did get some shit today from some guys in our sports department. They were like, really, you guys are pumping out this graphic? And I was like, first of all, I don't represent the school. But we have a graphic that came out that says receiving votes. Is that corny or not for the softball team?
It's a good question.
Their top 25 D1 softball ratings. Texas State receiving votes. Cats are ranked number 25. Well, look at that. So we're ranked. How fun.
Yeah, I have mixed emotions. I think when a football program does it, lame. When a softball program does it, because there's just more Division I softball teams, I care a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool.
You're with it. Shout out Justin.
And the real question will be, how high can they climb? Because, of course, the Power 5 schools are always kind of like grouped in there. I would be curious to see if they can get as high as 20, maybe.
I was about to say, I think if you get into like the teens, that's crazy. Like, like 19, 18, 15, like fucking might as well be in the damn tourney right now.
I would like to see the highest rank for a Sunbelt team across athletics. What do you think that would be? Because I know that Coastal got up there a couple times in the teens, and I don't think they were in the single digits, if I'm correct. They might have
went to Omaha. What was that?
Well, they weren't in the Sun Belt when they went to Omaha. When Coastal won.
Oh, true. You're right. My bad.
Yeah. So, but I'm thinking like Coastal Carolina football when they went to because maybe I think they got up to 17 when they were in baseball though. But this is something that I'm gonna have to research more. I don't know off the top of my head.
Me either. Yeah, we'll do a deep dive for next week. Here's what I want to end with. Thank you for 900 followers on X, Elon Musk's X. So shout out to the Quattro Corners cartel. We are 900 deep. This is the race to 1,000 for me and Zimmel now. I'm trying to get that ahead of next football season so we can really
get
the ground running. I mean, if you think about this shit, like we started in the offseason last year and then we've gained 900. That's pretty fucking good. I think I had like some unrealistic goal of getting to like 1,000 before like week 1 last year. And that was just ridiculous. That was just stupid boy talking. Now I think this is a lot healthier of a way to get into it. We're gaining a couple hundred followers every few months.
Well, and also every football season, we're going to get 100 new ones because people who care about Texas State football are coming back. And
now, did we get to 900 followers because I followed every single person that the baseball team follows and I picked up all their recruits? Yes.
Inflating the numbers.
Inflating the numbers any way I can, baby. Hey, you can stop this inorganicness by just following us at Squarin Pod. You can also support our show directly. We got links below at all of our affiliate accounts. If you want to add on here, read in the style that me and Zim will do it in, reach out to us directly or at Squarin Pod. Thanks for squaring, everybody.
We don't need no badges. I don't have to show you any stinking badges. Better not come any closer.
Thanks for listening. New episodes out every Thursday. Follow the boys on Twitter. Eat 'em up. Eat 'em up.